Evening everybody, Silverbolt here, back for another Transformers review. Today we are going to be doing Mindwipe. Okay, now Mindwipe is the Cybertronian answer to Derek Akora. He is a mystic who likes to speak to the dead souls, or dead sparks of, well, dead Decepticons, rather than actually speak to real living Decepticons or anybody else for that matter. And owing to such a mysterious, monstrous, evil, mystical wizard that is Mindwipe, he is consequently a bat. Yes, a bat. Mindwipe first shows up in the episode The Rebirth, obviously The Rebirth Part 1, where his magical, his magical, mystical powers of hypnotism come quickly to the fore when he hypnotizes Lightspeed and basically forces him to drive off the back of a cliff. So he has some uses in that form, considering the fact that in any other form he's pretty well screwed. He's a bat, and he goes to the planet Nebulos with the other Decepticons, and he gets binary bonded with the Nebulon Vorath. His Nebulon companion is Vorath. And Vorath is a Nebulon scientist that basically lost his job because he did some rather nasty things in the name of his science. Vorath is here. Very nice purpley, pinky red and black. And Vorath, incidentally, is, I believe, the only the only Nebulon who becomes one of the headmasters of the Target Masters who doesn't get named. You never see him named. It's not until the toy came out that Mindwipe's Nebulon companion actually got a name. Mindwipe is in the Rebirth through 1, 2, and 3, and like many of the other new Decepticons, he's very much a generic one. He doesn't really do a lot, aside from fight. In Transformers Headmasters, the Japanese version, he's a lot more involved in everything. And now, where Mindwipe's powers are concerned in the Rebirth, it has some degree of feasibility, because the Cybertronians, the Autobots and Decepticons, for all their sentience, they're still just machines. So it's quite feasible that Mindwipe would have a particular ability to him, ergo going to his name, that would allow him to wipe the minds of his enemies. He could override their systems, he can command them. Now, that's quite feasible, and makes a fair amount of sense in the science fiction universe. Transformers Headmasters, the Japanese being the Japanese, and doing what the Japanese love to do, take this relatively simple, relatively easy to follow concept of him gaining control of other people using some form of telepathy or mental impulses or overriding their hard drives or whatever he wants to do, and completely turning it ass over tit. In fact, he actually gains his powers they are magical. Yes. This robot, highly advanced civilization, has magical powers. And how does he use his magical powers? Well, he puts his hands together and goes himiny 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 himiny. He sounds like a Tonka Troy on weed. But there we go. It's the Japanese. They love doing this to their cartoon series. And though he really doesn't do it, Mindwipe is one of the Decepticons that plants the explosives on Cybertron when Prime dies in the first few episodes, and then he comes in, and he's quite an important player in the Transformers series, Headmaster series itself. Now, Mindwipe in the comics gains a much more suitable role as the Mystic. He is part of a unit called the Chaos Trinity, who are a series, I suppose you could say, of ritualistic wizards, who wouldn't look too out of place, aside from being giant transforming robots, in an episode of Dragonlance or Forgotten Realms or some other D&D setting. And Mindwipe and the other two Decepticons that make up the Chaos Trinity, which is Bugley and Bludgeon. Bludgeon, quite an influential character, of course, in the Pretender lines, so I'm not going to go into him too much there. And Mindwipe, Bludgeon, and Bugley form the Chaos Trinity after Megatron and Optimus Prime have disappeared. This is in the War Within Volume 2. Now, the Chaos Trinity end up coming into the service of the Fallen. Well, I wouldn't say they come into the service. He turns around and says, "Follow me and I'll reward you greatly. Defy me and I'll kill you here and now." Because after the disappearance of Megatron and Optimus Prime, the Autobots and Decepticons split down into various factions, and the Chaos Trinity was one of them. And the Chaos Trinity tended to work behind the lines. They never really got involved in outright warfare with the other factions, and they tended to go their way through trickery and manipulation without using shows of outright strength. For instance, when Shockwave had nearly finished building Trypticon, it was the Chaos Trinity that let Prowl's Autobots know where it was. Needless to say, their alliance with the Fallen comes to a very drastic end when Shockwave's Decepticons attack, and Mindwipe himself does appear to have been killed by Shockwave. Bludgeon, it appears, does actually seem to get away, because he later comes back in the novel Stormbringer, well, in the graphic novel Stormbringer, but that's Bludgeon, is a completely different character. That's it for Mindwipe as a character. He never comes into it again, and incidentally, Mindwipe is one of the precious few Transformers that has never been redone in another series. His name has never been taken into anything else. He has never been re-released, but then none of the Headmasters have. And his toy has never been recoloured into another toy. So Mindwipe, very much an original toy. Okay, now onto the toy itself. I'm just going to say as well, thanks to Ryan and Aid for selling Mindwipe to me, along with a few other beauties. So I'm very well impressed. Seeing as I'm going a bit Headmaster crazy at the moment and want to get all the original 10. 10? It is 10 original Headmasters. Hang on, I'm going to have to think about this now. Okay, Autobot Headmasters was Highbrow, Hardhead, Brainstorm, and Chrome Dome. Decepticon Headmasters was Outface, Snapdragon, Mindwipe, Skullcruncher, and Weirdwolf. So yes, it is 10. Make sure then. So very pleased with Ryan and Aid. I'm really pleased that they sold me this toy. Okay, now this is him in bat mode, obviously. I have to say, I've said it before about the Headmasters, and I'll say it again about Mindwipe. Some of them really are right clunkers. They really are, and Mindwipe really does show this up in an really does prove this point. Hang on, just get the head down in there. Oh, these are quite stiff on mine. The hands sliding down. No, never mind, I'll leave it for now. There we go. Pop the head in like that. And just show you Mindwipe's strength, speed, and intelligence. You can't really see it. There we go. Okay, now this is Mindwipe transformed, minus the hands coming down, because these are very stiff, and the only way I can really do it is by grabbing them with my teeth, so I don't really want to do that a lot, because that's just going to leave marks. Okay, now aside from the robot mode having a tail, Mindwipe's a block. Very much so a block, and there's nothing really to him. You know, there's no real intricate design work or anything aside from the leather look on the wings, which you can't really see. And he's a clunker. He really is a clunker. And he just looks like it's like dunk, 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 spray purple, spray purple, spray purple, spray black, done. And that's it. He really is a bit of a... He really is quite pants. I mean, he goes very well with the other Decepticon Headmasters, obviously. but other than that, he really is quite pants. And I don't know if you can tell, but even the head doesn't help, because then it just looks like rectangle, 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 square. So a bit of a clunker, a bit of a clunker. The head, popping out of course, does look very, very nice. But then the headmasters do look very nice. The headmaster toys do look nice, as in the heads themselves. Yeah, so the headmasters do look nice. There's an awful lot of detail in them, in the arms, in the chest pieces, on the heads themselves. But the main toy, it's really, 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 really not a lot to be said about it. Another thing that really does bug me about this toy is the bat head. I'll just show you now. Okay, one bat head. Turn it to the side, and it looks like he's been guillotined. Now, it's just missing. You know, the back part of the head's just missing. As far as I know, there is actually no back part of the head, but there we go. And it's just, you can't tell, but yeah, there you go. It looks like a waffle. Now, the back of the head looks like a waffle. So, not very pleased with that at all. I suppose there are worse Transformers out there. There are worse Transformer toys out there. So I don't dislike Mindwipe, but it really does show that by the late 80s, Hasbro really were just churning them out for the sake of churning them out. So he is a bit of a bleh one. I mean, I like him, but he's still a bit of a bleh one. So the headmasters, as I think I've said in previous videos, the headmasters will set you back quite a bit. Seeing as they're some of the last Transformer toys that were actually released, it is surprising that they are so expensive. So I'm just looking for something to try and get his other hand out, because I don't want to use my teeth. But oh well, I can't find anything. Never mind. You know, the fact that they are some of the last of the G1 Transformers that were released, it's strange that they're all so expensive. They usually go for in the region of about 30 quid. But there we go. Yes, that's my video of Mindwipe done. As I said, a nice toy in the fact that it's a headmaster. But to be honest, if it wasn't a headmaster, there really isn't a lot to say for it. And it doesn't look that bad in bat mode, I suppose. Apart from the guillotined off head. But yes, that's Mindwipe done. Once again, thanks to Ryan and Aid for giving me a nice deal on him. And on some other toys, of course. Which will probably get done at some point as well. But for now, this is Silverbolt with Mindwipe and Barath signing off, saying au revoir, adios, auf Wiedersehen.